Today on Dirt Road CRED, we've got some breaking news. We're going to start off with our 12 for 12 predictions and the drop on February 12th with some hints at maybe some more horsepower under the hood, and then a breaking bombshell drop from another Jeep country's website that we've never seen Jeep do anything like before. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. We are back out in the shop, and we've actually got some Jeep news to discuss. It's been a little bit stagnant lately. I think everybody's still in that winter blues as we're all sitting basically half the country underneath a foot of snow and negative temperatures. You can keep warm by adding on a DRC crew neck like we've got on now, but regardless, we've got some cool stuff to talk about today. The first is our prediction for the 12 for 12. If you guys haven't been aware, Jeep is releasing 12 special edition models, one per month, and they're actually doing it on the 12th of the month. So today is February 5th. And what they're going to be releasing on the 12th is what we can discuss right now. We were just so happened to follow a Jeep Life or a Jeep thread on a messaging app on Instagram that you can actually click follow and they'll send you updates. And when we got the update for the 12 for 12, it showed the next duck, that new one with, it looks like to be topographic map, with a backdrop that looks like either Arizona, Moab, somewhere out there, and the notorious sound of a V8 engine kind of just revving in the background. It was pretty cool to see. They don't give you too many predictions, but we think it's going to have a V8 engine. Not sure if it's a Gladiator or Wrangler. They are doing the Gladiator drop separately, but prediction is it's going to be another V8. And our personal prediction is, Ryan, I think Goldilocks. The new gold color, and they're going to do something for Moab, right? I think it's going to be some sort of Moab release. I think it's maybe a Moab 60th anniversary, something like that. Or, and I hope they don't do this, a Golden Eagle. It's going to be a Golden Eagle trim with the Goldilocks color. Now, the reason I say I hope they don't do this is because we've got some ideas with that concept, and we kind of don't want Jeep to do it first, and then we look like we're taking their lead. So you heard it here first. We want to do a Golden Eagle before they do, right, Ryan? You heard it here first. But yeah, overall, it's pretty cool stuff, though. When you see it on the Instagram app like that, if you're in the Messenger, you'll get updates. But that's kind of what we foresee happening. Now, it's also odd because we don't know what they're going to do for the Super Bowl either. You know, they just released this really creative ad. It was a bass ad on the new Cherokee. And actually on the Jeep.com's website, they have the Cherokee and then the little bass mounted on the, those little wall plates. It's in the thumbnail for the Cherokee vehicle on the website. That video got a ton of views. Everyone was laughing about it. And I think the biggest thing about it is that it was creative. It was funny. It didn't use really much AI or any generated. It was a lot of editing, a lot of kind of motion picture work in it, but it was absolutely hilarious. So we'll have to see what they drop for the Super Bowl. We've known them for dropping kind of really cool vehicles. The Harrison Ford ad the other year, and they were talking about the Recon. They were talking about the 4xe. I think a lot of that might be going away, but we'll have to see what they drop for the Super Bowl. Let us know down below, first off, who's your pick for the Super Bowl? And then secondly, what Jeep might drop for their ad. All right, guys, so this one is actually pretty funny because it popped up as an ad for me kind of late night. I was sitting on Facebook, and something popped up in Australia, and it showed a gold Gladiator, and it instantly caught me off guard. I think the post had like 2 likes and 1 comment. I don't even know how it got fed to me, besides the fact that all of my IP address searches are just about gold Jeeps. So maybe it noticed that and just fed it to me on Facebook. But what you're going to notice today is that we are not on Jeep.com in the US. We are in Jeep.com Australia, and I believe they're hiding their secrets in plain sight in Australia. So this is some really cool stuff here, guys. Mind you, this is Australia, so it's not the US website, but you can easily go on jeep.com.au and you can check all this stuff out for yourself. So the first page that we're going to visit here is actually on jeep.com.au, and this is the 2026 Wrangler Buyer's Guide. Now, what's cool about this is right away, right in the beginning here, you're going to see in Earl Grey Wrangler JL flying through some sort of different off-road area in Australia, and these are right-hand drive as well. But Earl already back there. We haven't seen Earl in a little while. So as we scroll down, we can see Rubicon 4-door, Rubicon 2-door. I believe that's going to be the only option in Australia. We've actually talked to a couple people from down under. I'm not going to say it with an Australian accent, even though I got permission from guys from Australia. But they said that the Wrangler and Gladiator, they've been really limiting trims, so they don't have as many as we do here in the U.S. Sport, Sport S, Sahara, Mojave, etc. They don't get all those, and it really seems like with the 26, they're just going with Rubicon. Now, what's interesting here is when we scroll down to the exterior colors with a U because they're in Australia, we've got bright white, black, firecracker red, granite, hydro blue, anvil, but interesting underneath, June 2026, end of production. Does that make you sad, Ryan?
Yeah, had a good run.
Had a good run. She had a good run. But I'm curious if that's, once again, guys, we're talking about Australia. I don't know if any of this applies for the US, right? 41, Mojito. That has June 2026 end of production as well. I liked Mojito. Mojito was a cool color, but we've seen that a lot now. We've seen a lot of different Mojitos. That's been out for a couple years. Rain, September 2025 to April 2026 production. And here's my favorite, Ryan. Goldilocks. April 2026 to June 2026 production. That's got me very excited. I don't know if anyone knows, if you guys have been hearing, that's the color I want to order. And seeing it on here, we're going to talk about why I think this makes sense for the US market. But seeing that limited, what's that, April, May, June, a 3-month production, I think it's going to be a limited run color. I don't think it's going to stay around for a while, but it looks beautiful just on this little render here. Right afterwards, Tuscadero coming back. I don't even know if that was available in Australia at all. That was available in 24 because you could get it on the first final edition, $392. Remember, you could get one of our friends, Susie. She has that beautiful one that we got to see in Tennessee. But that says April 2026 to July 2026 production. So a little bit longer than the Goldilocks there. And then right afterwards, Earl. Earl, April 2026 start of production, and it doesn't have any end date listed. I think Earl is going to be the replacement for Anvil. I think they used to go back and forth, and we don't need Granite Gray, Anvil Gray, and Earl Gray. Earl's a great color, though.
Yeah.
I think Earl's a fantastic replacement for it. But Juice, also, April 2026 start of production. This makes me a little bit sad once we go over to the Gladiator tab, because we thought our Hemi 5.7 liter Juice was going to be pretty rare. And now I do think it might be making a return. But once again, this is just Australia. So what do you think, Ryan? You think Juice is going to come back in the U.S.?
Yeah.
You do?
Yep.
And it's going to not have a Hemi into it like ours, but ours will be pretty cool. Anyways, that's the buyer's guide there. So right away, guys, we're giving you a ton of information. And I welcome you to go on jeep.com.au and check this out yourselves. Tip, you might have to enter a postal code, and we use the one 2000. I think it's for Sydney or Melbourne or whatever, but we were able to type it in and go on there. But let's check out the Wrangler kind of visualizer on the website, because you can actually go on jeep.com.au and look at the Wrangler JL. Now, what's neat about this one is that right away we can click Juice. We got Juice pulled up on this, and then we can click Goldilocks right after it. See what Goldilocks looks like on this Jeep. The pink, the Tuscadero, we can visualize that, and then even the Earl Grey. One thing that I wanted to stop and just talk to you guys for a moment is right now on jeep.com.au, 13 colors are up there. That's pretty cool. I don't think we've seen that in a very long time. I think Jeep normally caps out at about 9 to 10 colors, and then they rotate some in. 13 colors being able to visualize is absolutely cool, and I think that's the right direction for Jeep, is where they should go. Back in the 60s and 70s, the CJ5, Ryan, we looked at a couple of those articles. You could order 20 colors, 5 different interior options, 10 different top color options. You could customize the living heck out of these things, but it is really cool to see it in all those new colors as a visualizer. And I know it's not the same as seeing one in person, but seeing the Juice and the Earl and those, and especially the Goldilocks that we've never seen, is really cool to be able to visualize it. It's a little bit interesting, though. We're going to click on the Gladiator tab, and I've already got Goldilocks popped up. The Gladiator doesn't get as much love as the Wrangler. So the Gladiator only has 10 colors here, and it's not getting Earl, it's not getting Tuscadero, and there's one other that we're missing. Oh, Firecracker Red. Not on the Gladiator Rubicon. On this visualizer here. But it looks cool. With the Goldilocks, seeing paint match fender flares, a black top, that gold I think is going to be something special, and we're really excited to see where it comes out. But what we want to talk about now is, how does this affect the US market? I'll go back to the buyer's guide, because you guys got to understand, basically all of the Wranglers, I believe 100% of them, come out of Toledo, Ohio. They're all built there, they're sprayed there, parts come from different Canada, Mexico areas, but final assembly is all in Toledo, Ohio, and then they export them or sell them to the US, depends on where the country of origin comes from. Would it make sense, if we're looking at this, production dates, end of production, start of production, would it make sense that the US and all the other color availability follow this schedule? I personally think so. If you're going to stop production of one color for one country, but still let it be in another country, does it make sense to not run a full line of that color through the paint shop? If you guys get what I'm saying, if Goldilocks was available in Australia but not available in the US, you would want to run as many through in the paint line. So you kind of want to open it up for the US. At least that's my hopeful ambition, is that theirs might follow with the US market. But guys, what I think is most interesting about this is how this all aligns with the US market. We've been following the 12 for 12, those ducks that are being revealed, kind of taking predictions, taking stabs at what they might be, looking on the website to see the color schemes, the hues, all of that other fun stuff. But when you look at the production of these colors, the availability, the timestamps, it does line up with some of those ducks. I mean, looking at the purple and pink here, that's probably going to be that retro looking one that's on the screen. There was an Earl one in the backdrop, but I think it makes a lot of sense to have all of these colors come out, to have the 12 for 12 special editions, and to kind of give you everything for the JL and JT at the tail end of the model year. I kind of think that this might be the last hurrah for the JL and JT. I'm not sure on when exactly the new model is going to come out, but one thing we have been hearing rumors about is the Bronco is set to do a refresh for the model year 2027. That means in a few months, we might see a 2027 model year refreshed Bronco. Ford is a little bit different than Jeep, especially on their trucks, on their Mustangs, on their other vehicles. They tend to update them quite quicker than Jeep does. I mean, looking at the past few years, the JK ran for 11 years, the TJ was 9, and then the YJ was 8. Right now, the JL is at 10 model years. The JT is a little bit of a different animal because that's only at 6. So will that outrun the JL a little bit? Or will they, maybe they'll run the JT for 10 years, run it till 2030, and then redesign that, but maybe have a new Wrangler out? That wouldn't, I'm curious on what they would do with that. That gets very interesting. But personally, they're going to run all these colors through, 12 for 12 special editions, just like they did with the JK, Golden Eagle, specialty packages, Red Rock, limited editions, all sorts of stuff. Phase it out, make sure that they sell because everyone wants these limited run colors. And then perhaps, I don't know, 2028, Ryan? That would be 10 model years in, right? Yeah. Oh, so we're only at 8 model years right now. I have my math wrong.
Yeah.
I said 10, we're at 2026. And the JL, I said 10 years. It's been running for 8 years.
Always a year late.
Right. So we've had the JL for going on 9 years then, but model years 2018 to 2026. I had a little bit math combobulation. I'm fighting 18 colds right now, and so is Ryan. The JL has been running for 8 years. Model years 2018 to 2026. I could see it running 10, 2028, and being done. So what that means is it would be revealed in 2027. So a lot of numbers here with years, but that's just a little bit of a prediction. I think the most exciting thing, though, guys, are these colors, seeing them here in person. We've obviously seen a couple renders. We've been talking about it all the time with our dealer friends. No one has any more information, but seeing it here on jeep.com.au gives us a lot of hope for what we have coming down the pipeline. But you guys know, if you follow the channel, make it all the way to the tail end of the video. This is where we talk to those subs and our friends that watch the whole way through the video. So we got some cool stuff coming, but let's first kind of address the vehicle builds and the plans. You guys know, I think at this moment we have 4 Jeeps, including my dad's, we have 5. So Ryan's 2-door still in the mix. You guys haven't probably seen it on camera in a little bit of time. Ryan's debating actually maybe going up to 37s on that rig. Fill out the wheel well a little bit more. He's already re-geared to 456, so I think it would be a nice little finishing touch to that. But either way, we were walking by that. I think 37s would be a nice upgrade for that Jeep. Plus, we might take a chance to refresh some things underneath. A little bit of surface rust on some of the axle and drivetrain components. We are getting absolutely hammered with salt up here in the north, and that Jeep is going on, what, 3 years old now? So it is going on 3 years. That was one of the first 2024 JLs. In fact, it was so early that it still had the old style grill on it. We had to swap that out. That was a very early Jeep. Well, we got that one, and then Ryan is dailying the orange, the Juice Gladiator. So don't worry, guys. I saw a lot of comments in our video last night. Shout out to our 15 first accessories video. If you guys haven't seen that, definitely go and check it out. We got some really cool mods coming for that Jeep, but the Juice is still around. We have some mods on the way for that. Going to be doing some bumpers, winches, lights, etc., kind of finishing that thing up, and then a whole heck of a lot more driving, racing, towing, testing reviews once we don't have a 1.5 feet of snow on the ground. You got to remember, we're out filming. Ryan's outside. We've got GoPros. We're jumping in and out of vehicles. It gets pretty treacherous when it's this time of year. So coming up very soon, a lot more on the 5.7 Gladiator, but don't worry, it's still around. Ideally, the 41, the two-door build, the military one, that's been a fun one. I'm debating going up a little bit on the suspension. The 488 gears have been absolutely fantastic. Probably going to be doing some diff covers here soon as we have to remove the fluid. It's a 500-mile break-in, and we'll be checking some things up on there. And then right over here in the shop, the Purple Rain Mojave. That thing is only...
Mojave.
Oh, God. Mojave. I think that was... I just saw somebody phonetic write it out there. We have the biggest issue with pronunciation, enunciation, and it's like the whole comment is just about that. So how about this? The Willys Mojave we've got over there. Does that bug you? We got the Willys Mojave Wrangler, but we got the 2026 Purple Mojave. Mojave? How do we get all these pronunciations for it? Lancaster, Lebanon, yeah. Yeah, everybody, tomato kind of thing. Yeah. But we got cool parts on there in the first mods. We got a lot more coming for that. When I say a lot more, one guy asked about, was that an AMW crate in the backdrop? Don't worry, it's not an AMW crate back there. But...
might be some spicy stuff coming.
Spicy stuff coming. You're just going to have to watch and find out. But that's what's going on with the fleet. Dad's Jeep, too, we're probably going to be putting some new wheels on, right, Ryan? We got those new Mopar performance wheels, which now through February 28th, 2026, if you guys go on the website, you can see all the official rules. No purchase is necessary, but you could potentially win 5 of those wheels and a toolkit. But we're going to be putting a set of 5 on my dad's Jeep, and maybe we'll do a little bit of custom touches. And then the last thing is, as soon as Goldilocks, I think, is available for a Gladiator, I think I'm going to place an order. I don't know which one we're going to get. If they do a Golden Eagle, it's going to tick me off, but because it'll probably be a fully loaded Rubicon style price. But I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% positive we're going to be ordering one of those kind of as, you know, just another Jeep that we can add to the already too many Jeeps that we own. I think would be a good idea. But I think I've rambled enough at the end. I'm glad you guys stayed around this long in the video. Thank you guys so much for watching this one. Ryan's behind the camera. I'm here talking to you. We want you to get out there and earn yours.